Yes, y'all. Welcome in to episode 77 of the Dumb Marks podcast. It's your favorite Saturday brunch bunch, the best four-man booth in the business. Back at it again on a snowy Saturday morning here in the Northeast on March 12th.
Did you really just applaud it, Jason?
Yeah.
I think it's almost almost one day off from the anniversary of the 93 blizzard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know it snowed. I just heard shovels going outside.
Yeah. Happy St. Paddy's Day festivities for everybody. If you woke up this morning and you're out there doing your kegs and eggs, or you trucked down to the parade here in Pittsburgh, but hey, salute to you. There's not enough green beer in the world that can make me go out in this weather to drink and have a good time.
If you're out there today, nothing's going to stop you.
No. If you're out there today getting it in, you may need to go to a different meeting after today's over with.
I mean, I know like any fans in Boston area and Chicago, they do big parades too every year. So hopefully everybody's having fun. Hopefully the weather's not. I know Boston was supposed to be hit too. So,
yeah.
Did we ever get that August parade?
Did you get the what?
Did we ever get that August parade?
The one last year.
One from the September one.
Did they do it?
Yeah, they did it.
Oh, they did it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did it. Pittsburgh got ranked. Pittsburgh was ranked number 3 as far as St. Patrick's Day parade and celebrations go, which I thought was surprising. But yeah, so there's that going on. I'll get my snow shovel after the show to clear off my driveway and everything else.
Me too.
But besides, waking up to 5-6 inches of snow on March 12th, you guys heard about these parachuting spiders that are going to invade the Northeast?
Yeah.
What is happening? We had murder hornets. We had a pandemic. We had murder hornets last year. Now we have parachuting spiders that apparently have been in the United States since 2014. They've just been in Georgia and Tennessee and South Carolina, but now they're making their way up the East Coast.
Like, keep your ass indoors.
Is this like, when do we get to the zombie apocalypse? Like, if this is a video game, we're on like level 3, right? We're working our way towards the final bosses. Like, we're on level 3. Like, what is next? I have no idea, but I don't want to see it. Like,
I think they said that they've been trying to like see how long they survive in cold weather, like testing it out, and
they survive.
Like, they're surviving more, and it's like
perfect experiment right now.
It is.
Mm-hmm. If there is a benefit, I saw that in one of the articles I was reading that the spider's teeth aren't very long. So, like, if you get bit by it,
it's not
they can't penetrate.
Yeah.
But like, where do you see a parachuting spider at?
It comes out the sky.
Yeah, like it's.
Is it coming out of the trees?
No, they get carried. They can be carried by the wind. Like, essentially, they can fly without flying. Is pretty much how it's put in the article.
And they look like the
hang gliding.
The big rainforest spiders.
Mm-hmm.
Whole shitload of nope on that one.
Yeah,
you can't see it coming. It's on you. You deserve to get bit.
Yeah, I don't know what else is next, but we're not trending in the right direction.
At least we never got the murder hornets, so hopefully that these don't come up either. So
yeah, we'll see about that. So. I find that funny. I'm like, I'm reading stuff on it, and I'm like, yo, these things are as wide as a soup can, about as big as the palm of your hand, and they can fly in the air. Like,
oh, if you don't see that shit coming, it
just sounds around for anything.
It just sounds like a video game.
You're just gonna be on your phone and.
It's literally
talking about like the alien things. You talk about the alien things, the cephalopods.
The first one to get bit.
Well, from the real life video game world that we're living in, Donald, what do you got for gaming news this week?
Oh boy, some gaming news. Sony had a state of play this week, and it featured games from the Japanese side. of developers. Really not much that was good. Everybody gave it a thumbs down. A lot of stuff from Square Enix that basically looked the same. I mean, everything from them looks like Final Fantasy. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You think wrestling fans are bad?
Yeah, wrestling video game fans are just as bad as wrestling.
They don't give you what you want. There you go.
They did have a game. They did have a game from Capcom where a vortex of dinosaurs come out the sky, and you have to fend off dinosaurs.
So that's our next.
Like the shark, but with dinosaurs.
That's our next wave. Our next wave.
It's called Exo Primal, and some fans thinking that they were going to do a Dino Crisis remake, but then it started getting extreme, and Capcom said, "Fuck it, we're just making a new IP out of it." So you're fighting off hordes of dinosaurs. I showed Jason it the day after and was like, "No, I cannot get behind it. Looks good, it looks good, but I can't get behind it." The only good thing that really came out of the state of play is the Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection. So it is all the original games coming out for all the systems. Yeah. And you will get 13 games, which includes Ninja Turtles, the arcade game. So it will be 4-player co-op. Everything will be co-op with each other. You get the original arcade game. You get the Turtles in Time arcade game. You get the 3 original Nintendo games. So the original one, the arcade game that came out for Nintendo, and the Manhattan Project, Turtles 3. You get the Super Nintendo version of Turtles in Time, which is like the best video game ever. You get the Sega Genesis version called the Hyperstone Heist. You get the 3 original Game Boy games with it. And then you get 3 versions of the Tournament Fighters for Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. And this is also, and all this is supposed to be coming out in fall time, and it's only $40.
Yeah, I'm all over that one. Is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, is that on the Mount Rushmore of arcade games?
For co-op players, yes. Of the arcades, yes. Yes, it is.
Are they trying to bury Shredder's Revenge?
So, I mean, you'd have to go that. You'd have to go, what, The Simpsons?
And the X-Men?
X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who else you put on that 4th, but to me, I think those 3 would have to be up there, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, they need to package that Turtles with that Shredder's Revenge, so it's like you get like one combo of everything.
Mm-hmm. But they're supposed to release it a couple weeks or a couple months before Shredder's Revenge come out. Mm-hmm. So play this and it leads you into that.
Get that holiday pack, you know.
Yeah.
Listen,
so that was
I'm not a big gamer, but I will be buying that for $40 as well as Shredder's Revenge, and that's what I will be playing nonstop.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was the best thing that came out that Sony State of Play. And like I mentioned before in a couple of episodes, Sony's getting ready for a big showcase at the end of the month. They didn't announce a date, but it is coming at the end of the month. Also, Microsoft and Activision Blizzard is back in the news again. But this company will never let it down. I don't know why Microsoft even bought it, to be truthful, but they're being investigated for insider trading. They said investors were very mad about the acquisition, saying that they didn't get enough money out of it, and they found out that insider trading was happening before the acquisition happened. So the SEC is all investigating this whole thing with it. Man, that's a bad acquisition. And the last thing is, okay, Steve.
No, go ahead. I'll save it.
And the last thing is, a data miner, that's what they call them now, was hacking something in Microsoft and found out that Xbox is having a new system come out in a couple years already. But everybody think it's just going to be a revision of the Series X. So just like another Pro, like PlayStation Pro is doing and all that stuff. Okay. They found a list of code names, like a whole list of code names on a DOS program. And it had one that was the code name after this Xbox version that came out. So they said it is legit. So be on the lookout for like an 8K Series X to come out along with the PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah. Before you get 8K TVs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sony pretty much makes the only 8K TVs. So.
Corner that market. Yeah, but that was about all for gaming this week.
I was gonna bring some positive news to the the sad state of affairs with the Blizzard and Activision scandal. See, Disney announced Mario World.
Yes,
I did see that.
For
Yes.
I believe it's what 2023
Universal.
Universal. I'm sorry, Universal.
Mm-hmm.
2023 or 2024. I can't remember. But
I think Hollywood's 2023, and then Florida will be 2025.
Okay, so yeah, so you'll get Mario World down there.
You gotta have the cards.
It's big time, boy.
You gotta have the cards, right?
That is big time.
Because the one in Japan's already open at Universal, and it looks pretty legit.
Yeah, it does. So that's exciting. Make the trek down there maybe for that. So, all right. Anything else intro wise that we need to cover?
I just got a quick story. Yesterday we had my mom's birthday dinner, and then so we bought her a digital picture frame. And my sister was like, "Oh, do you have the card to go in it so all the pictures could pop out?" So we put the card in, but you had to download the app, do this with the Wi-Fi, everything. I was like, "Yeah, back in my days, you just popped the card in and all the pictures came up. You didn't have to go through all this stuff." And then my sister looked at me and was like, "Yeah, that's why you still listen to CDs in your car." I was like, "You really have to take a shot like that?" They were like, so the technology gap between me and my sister is like very, very big now. I was like, God, you're coming at me with my CDs.
I mean, I'm surprised you didn't sit there and say back in my day, we actually just put an actual picture in the frame.
Pretty soon she'll be sitting you down explaining stuff.
I'm surprised it still had the card to upload into it. Like I know there's the ones that you can set up where it's just you set it up via an email account and you just email the pictures through the cloud to that email account and they show up on the frame. There's no card at all. It's just everything sent via email. So
I think that's my niece's Fire Stick. You can have like a photo gallery on there. So I'll put a picture of me and her and put it on loop. And that's all she was so pissed. She was in college. Turn on the thing, picture of me and her. This is the next slide up, picture, same picture. She was pissed. And I can control it from my phone.
That's great. Yeah, we thought about giving that for my mom. My mom's birthday is on Wednesday on the 17th on St. Patrick's Day, and thought about doing that for her. And I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna like that'll turn into like a 3-hour conversation on how it works and everything else. Like I don't need
that's
that
when you
headache.
just give it to her and then you control it yourself.
Yeah, but even like to explain to her how to turn it on probably would turn into an hour conversation. So like the technology is, man, like it's definitely scary.
It's starting to get beyond my point. It is
beyond your point, and you think you're like, I'll never that'll never be me. It's like, yeah, that's you.
It is me. It is me.
Jason, for your niece, you need to do like a photo a month, so it's kind of like a calendar of Jason for the year.
We got my mother one a couple years back, and she wanted us to scan all the photos, and that was a no. So you know what that thing is? Collecting dust. Because I'm not scanning shit.
She wanted all the photos.
Oh, she bought a wand scanner, so I could just no, I'm not doing it. Sorry, I'm not that child. Like, look, it ain't coming on a memory card. You ain't getting it.
All right. Anybody got anything else for the intro? We can cut this short this week and jump right into bell to bell.
I'm good.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. All right, very interesting, very exciting time in the world of wrestling this week. Before we get into everything, thoughts and prayers go out to Big E. Last night on SmackDown, suffered a gruesome, nasty-looking injury. He did post a little short video to his Twitter timeline, as well as other social medias, letting everybody know he is okay. He can move all fingers and toes, but he does have a broken neck. So not sure how long he will be out for, but thoughts and prayers to him. Hopefully he heals up and is able to get back in the ring at some point in time. But man, that was not a good look.
No. No.
It was
I don't know
if outpouring of love from everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, not just
promotion.
WWE, not just WWE fans. It was across the board. Wrestlers, fans alike, no matter what promotion you watch, or like everybody was showing love to Big E last night, which just goes to show you how much he's respected and beloved as an individual, not just as a performer, but as a man himself. So
I like that.
And I don't know if taking it on the outside made it worse. Like I don't know if it would have been in the ring, if it would have been any better, just based off of how he fell on it. But we talked about this watching the pay-per-view on Sunday, Chris, AEW, especially with like snap suplexes, dragon suplexes, belly to belly German. I cringe every single time I see somebody take one, and I don't know if it's on the person delivering the move or the person taking the move, but man, like you've seen so many people nowadays land on the top of their neck and head and everything else, and it's like I don't know when that transition happened to where people stop learning how to take moves properly or deliver moves properly, especially on a move like that where it's such a mutual thing between two performers.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw it at Elimination Chamber whenever was it Madcap, and he fell right on his neck in the ring, and I still understand how he was okay after that.
Yeah,
he fell.
Yeah, we've seen it with Starks, with him and Hangman when he took the German.
Even Starks when we were watching the ladder match on Sunday.
Yeah,
it was like took that ladder bump. And it's like you don't do that to him.
You don't.
What'd you say, Jay?
Archer's injury. Man, he got some time from that.
Yeah, it's bigger, faster, stronger, right? You see it across the board in all sports. Maybe not the same for pro wrestling, depending on what company you watch. But I feel like the basics, and Taz tweeted this out, and I think Taz would be a perfect person to talk about suplexes, considering his entire career and gimmick was built on suplexes, right? It goes back to training. It goes back to basics, positioning, timing, all that. It just doesn't depend on your strength and being able to flip somebody. So, yeah, I don't. There's a lot of things, and this happened again on the pay-per-view, but there's there's certain things I don't even watch as the match is going on because I'm worried for wrestler safety.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just me being an older fan or what, but there's times where, Chris, you'll attest to this, there was times where like the pay-per-view was going on and a spot was getting ready to happen, and like I literally like looked away from the TV. I'm like, yo, tell me that they landed it safely, because I didn't want to see it. AEW has had multiple scares. Sammy, I mean, hell, even on the pay-per-view on Sunday with Sammy and Isaiah going off of the scaffolding, doing the Spanish fly onto the tables, like
doing that. Orange over exerting himself and falling. He couldn't get caught whenever he went outside the ring.
That to me, the orange one is more of an accident where they weren't far enough back, or between him and Keith Lee's momentum throwing it to where like they just missed the catch. To me, that's an accident in pro wrestling that's going to happen from time to time, right? But some of these other things, man, it's just like I said, I don't know if it's the person taking the bump or the person giving the move, but a lot of these suplexes, man, every single time they go for one, it's like, oh, are they going to get back up? I just don't.
It's also like
it's cringy.
Like Orton's, what is Orton's move off the rebound off the rope, where he does that slam?
Oh, that quick slam.
Oh, that quick slam. That scares me every time, but they managed to pull it off.
No.
Yeah. That was Britt. Was it Britt and Thunder on the pay-per-view where she did it, and Thunder Rosa's head like
she couldn't distribute the weight.
Yeah, she just missed it by like that much, clearing the bottom of the ring to get it all the way around. And it's I don't know if it's a matter of like slowing down when you get into those types of transitions and moves to where both people are set and can do it, or what. But
I think even after Stone Cold's neck injury, what was that, 97? Like, I still pile driver and tombstones every time I see it.
Every time.
I'm watching them so intense to make sure that their heads don't hit the mat.
Every time.
Yeah.
And style clashes too.
Yeah. How many times people have messed up on that? And he tries to protect them as best he can.
Yeah.
Saved Ellsworth's life the one time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But in that case, it comes to the and he's talked about it itself. Like, it comes to the person taking the move. In that instance, if you don't know how to take it, then you're gonna break your neck. So I don't know. But thoughts and prayers to Big E. Hopefully, it's nothing that's career ending. Would love to see Big E back in the ring at some point in time.
I mean,
no rush.
Thick neck. Hopefully that helped protect something.
Yeah, no rush. Heal up. Make sure you're 100%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just scary situation all the way around last night.
Yeah.
With that being said, so all right. Well, then we got that out of the way. Where do you guys want to start at for the week? You want to go WWE wise, since we brought up Big E, and we can talk about a couple things that you saw this week?
Might as well, because there's not a lot to talk about.
Some stuff.
Some stuff. Raw this week. I'd say that the triple threat match, the tag match to open the show, between the opening promo segment and the match, I think they went about 40 minutes out of that first hour, roughly. Very good match, very entertaining match. One of the better tag team triple threat matches you'll see, especially comparing it to what we saw Sunday night, between the Young Bucks, Red Dragon, and Jurassic Express, which I thought the one on Raw was just as good as that one. Innovative stuff. Chad Gable is extremely underappreciated and underrated.
He is.
He's just so entertaining. I don't love the title change before Mania.
Yes. I never liked a title change before Mania.
I didn't expect them to get it either. Like, I thought, if anything, it would have went to KO and Seth if there would have been a title change.
So I knew KO and Seth weren't getting it because KO is working with Austin. And Seth is rumored to be working with Cody, is what the plans are. So we'll see if that plays out. They want Cody to be on Raw tomorrow or Monday night to debut, to kickstart it, so you have a couple weeks build to the show. But as far as we know, no contract's been signed yet. There's that there. But let Otis and Gable get a Mania moment and let them carry the tag titles into Mania. I mean, you could have Orton and Riddle beat them there.
True.
If you're going to do the title change, why not just let it happen at Mania? Because now they lose. What do you do with them now?
Now is it just a rematch?
Yeah, of course.
Maybe.
Because who else do you really have?
I mean, if you're unifying WWE titles, I mean, why don't you unify tag titles?
Do you give Otis and Gable the Mania moment?
Why not?
I mean, you should. I mean,
they gave Zack Ryder his. Yeah. Why not give him theirs?
Even though RKO or RK Bro is harder than fish grease, you gotta let those sometime.
Now that they're harder than fish grease, if they decide to do the quick transition back to Otis and Gable, to me that would lead to a turn. And then you're off in them two in a program that will probably carry through Money in the Bank and maybe even SummerSlam, depending on how they book it.
So then you had Orton after the match say that, this is the most fun he's had, and he considers Riddle a friend now. And so
dropping seeds.
Yeah.
So now it's like, do you have Orton be the one to turn? Because to me, it seems like this is geared more towards Riddle now turning on him. Orton's the one that says he considers him a friend.
I see most people want Riddle to turn.
Yeah, I think I would turn Riddle, just because we haven't seen a turn from Riddle yet.
And like,
Granted,
Viper's always been the one to attack, so someone to attack him is different than what we've ever seen before, too.
Change it up.
Yeah.
Change it up. Give me something different.
So because we're discussing this is not going to happen. Orton's going to be the one to turn.
They're going to retain the tag titles.
I mean, I don't know. Unless you're getting ready to push Riddle, and I don't know if the heat between him and Lesnar has died down to where if Lesnar beats Reigns, you know, you could work Riddle up on the Raw side of things to challenge for the belt after a turn and feud with Orton. I don't know. It's just it's odd. You like, for as big as WrestleMania is, I don't know, the build to this just doesn't. It's not working for me. Like from a story standpoint, from a match standpoint, I'm just not into WrestleMania at all right now.
Yes. A lot of stuff. WrestleMania, I am not into. Not at all.
But I mean, other than that, on Raw, like that to me, that was the show right there. That first 40 minutes.
Not one's at the end. That was it.
But I didn't sit around for the other. Like I didn't wait till 10:40, 10:50 to get Owens, and you know the promo at the end to close the show. Like I didn't sit around for that.
I watched the whole thing. You didn't need to. That was really it. The opening and the ending. That was all you need to watch.
Did you enjoy Finn at all?
It was an okay match.
I just once they inserted Damian Priest, I was like,
yeah. But I mean, it's Finn. I know he's going to have a good match. It's not a question of that. I'm going to enjoy his match. It's just more or less usually just who he's fighting. Am I going to be interested in it?
So I mean, yeah, that was to me that was Raw on Monday. Like I said, besides that, not a whole lot from a build and story standpoint that's getting me juice is starting to flow and rev up. You know, 4 weeks out from Mania. They got to make a turn quick and get something going because
was it 3 weeks?
Yes.
April 3rd. So
it is 3 weeks.
Second and third, yeah. So not a lot happening there. We'll jump over to SmackDown before we touch on NXT since we're on main roster stuff. Obviously, we talked about Big E last night. Let's get into the whole Butch. Sean Ross Sapp tweeted out how did he tweet it? Something along the lines of what's in a name, right? And Conrad Thompson tweeted out, you know, what if not Butch, what are you calling him? And you know, to Sean Ross Sapp's tweet, I retweeted and I just put what's in a name, like the value of the brand that you've been building for years that's associated with you and your connection to the audience. I get that they got to come up and be named something else, right? We get it. WWE wants to own the name. They're not going to own Pete Dunne. I understand that, right? So to Conrad's point, if not Butch, what else are you going to name him?
Can't call him Butch.
I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit thrown off. As much as I champion the brand, I was a little bit thrown off. I'm like, oh, okay, they're going with this. Okay.
But then it's like, why does he have to change to Butch? But Ridge Holland is still Ridge Holland.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up because he got drafted.
Ciampa is Ciampa. He's not Tommaso Ciampa up on the rock. Like, so why is it with some and not with others? Like, to me, it's just you're slapping your fan base in the face because they know it's Pete Dunne. It's been Pete Dunne. He's established as Pete Dunne. But he's been in WWE forever.
Do you think any of this is in their contracts?
I'm sure there's got to be something.
I mean, obviously, if Dunne's called up, he's going to get a main roster contract. He's not going to have an NXT contract anymore.
Yeah.
So
if he wants to own the name Pete or Dunne, Butch ain't it, but you got to switch to something.
Peter.
That wasn't fine. Yeah. Peter is fine. Peter sounds better.
No.
Somebody said Scrappy Doo. The way we're throwing the punches out there.
Look, when he stood,
Like
when he
Mighty
stood next to
Mouse
those
with Neville.
guys, you can see the difference. He looks big in NXT,
Scrappy Doo.
bigger in NXT on the main roster.
Yeah, and he's really leaned out over the years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's
Through the pandemic,
Yeah, the pandemic, he got cut and all that.
Yeah, so but like like the whole Scrappy Doo thing, just the way he was dressed and presented too.
Said he looked like a little rascal.
Yeah, he looked like a little rascal. So there's just, MSK is gonna be upset. That's still in the gimmick. Like
That's on his sides. Then you can't get. You put him with the right guys. Now you're just knocking his sides.
What was the gimmick Sheamus was in a couple years ago? It was like him, Wade Barrett,
League of Nations.
League of Nations. That's almost what this reminds me of.
I just don't.
It just got to be better than Butch.
You're from a foreign country. You're from a foreign country.
Like you kill them. You kill the man before he even gets a chance, just because of the name.
But I mean, who has he killed? Who have you killed it to? You've killed it to the wrestling fans. All the kids in the stands don't know. They just see a scrappy young guy. They don't know Pete Dunne all like that. Moms and dads don't know Pete Dunne all like that. We know Pete.
Hey, remember that guy who came into work? His kid was looking for a Pete Dunne figure. So,
yeah, okay, a rare, first in line exclusive Pete Dunne figure. Yeah.
See, I think normally, Jay, I would say you may be right, but and Keith Lee talked about this on Jericho's podcast whenever he did his interview. Like when he came out on the main roster, people knew him. He wasn't expecting that. He said everybody told him, hey, this audience is different. This audience doesn't know NXT people. They're not going to know your stuff. Don't expect, the basking of glory. Like, don't expect none of that. Like, this is a different crowd. This is a different audience. Main roster crowd is different. And he goes out there and everybody's doing it. So, like, I think more people know, especially now because NXT's been on USA for the past 2 years, almost 3 years, right? I think more people know of NXT people now than what they did in the past.
I think it's such a lie whenever they say that stuff because, it's like when Triple H was running NXT, they weren't saying that it was developmental. They said, this is a third brand. You've created a third brand here. So how can you sit there and say that no one's watching that? No one knows. Like, if you're advertising it on Raw and SmackDown, you have them on Survivor Series, as a third brand, and then you're going to sit there and say no one's going to know you. It's like, it's your WWE. You might not have everybody in the audience watch all three consistently, but there's going to be enough of the audience that watch NXT and that. Maybe not so much now because it is more developmental, but I think now they're thinking more people are going to tune in even though they're not. But it's just, I've never understood that. Like,
it did. Plus,
you're a third brand, but nobody watches you. It's like,
plus there's people in the stands. Company. And those people in the stands, they know who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids might, like Jason said, the kids might not know, but the adults know. It's like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I don't know who you are. It's like Jason don't like AEW, but he knows who's on the roster.
Should Braun Breaker have gotten a pop then when he came out?
Braun, I would say Braun would be less known because he's only been on NXT since August. Like he hasn't been on NXT for years. To me, done so far deep in your system.
And Ciampa hasn't had that much of. I mean, he's getting more reaction, but when he first popped up, he wasn't getting the pops that we know this guy pops.
When he first popped up recently, or first popped up a couple years ago.
Well,
remember he was brought up before.
With him and Gargano when
they were on
Ricochet DIY again, but they both said no, leave us down in NXT.
Yeah.
I just is Pete Dunne going to be WWE champion? No, because of his size and everything else, right? But at the same time, I think like you're giving him such a mountain to overclimb, and Bully Ray would argue that hey, the talent's job is to get it over no matter what. But I mean, when you're Bully Ray compared to the Red Rooster, there's a difference of being able to get it over, right? Like,
and Bully came in with an established gimmick. You know, he didn't have to get anything over. He just had to get themselves over to the new audience.
It's just gonna. I don't know, man. Like,
is Butch like calling a big guy tiny?
I mean, maybe we'll get. But here's my thing, Jay. Right? Like, we saw the introduction by Sheamus and Ridge. Right? You know, you guys may know him as another name, but we know him as Butch. And then Pete Dunne walks out. If they would follow up and explain the story and lay something out for me, then I gotta accept it.
Still ain't sold on Gunther.
I gotta accept it and move on with it, right? It's the same
thing with Gunther. Gunther, and he laid out the story for you. You don't.
Yeah, but that's just because to me it's always going to be Walter. Like, I just can't get past it. Like,
and he's still on NXT. So
yeah, but my thing is I don't trust the creative in WWE to lay something out to get me to understand why they call him Butch or what the backstory is or how he's tied into them. They don't tell those types of stories on the main roster.
So does he need a complete gimmick change? Because like I remember whenever in the early 90s, you know, it was Isaac Yankem DDS, and then a couple months later he was Fake Diesel. And you just sit there going like, why is Isaac Yankem coming out dressed like Diesel?
That fits his style of wrestling.
Yeah, but like, does it play into the gangs in New York, stereotypical Irish English, you know, fighting in the streets of UK? Have you ever seen the movie Green Street Hooligans, where the soccer club fans fight each other? They have gangs of each soccer club, and they travel around Europe fighting each other after the match, which probably really does happen over there, right? But like, okay, like I kind of get it, right? But like, he's not going to be their muscle. Like, he's not going to be their heater. You know, he's not.
Never know.
Like,
let him loose.
Yeah, but
why throw him in suspenders with the
hat.
Yeah, like especially when you got Madcap Moss is dressed similarly. The whole thing about it, I just hated.
I would have been fine if it wasn't for the man bun under the
under the fedora. Man bun under the fedora.
You could just tell we're just sitting up like.
So he's supposed to be
his way of getting him to be taller. Put his bun up. It'll make him taller, pal.
Well, so he's supposed to be his muscle and all that stuff, but his moveset is like a master manipulator of joints and that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's gone.
So he's the bruiser. So he's out there Brock Lesnar and everybody now.
He was the bruiserweight.
You could have leaned into that instead of Butch and called him Bruiser.
Yeah,
like, at least that would be
Butch the Bruiser. Butch the Bruiserweight.
Oh,
yeah. I saw Sheamus say this week that, you know, if he doesn't get a match on WrestleMania, there's something wrong with creative or something like that. And
if who, Pete? So,
who?
If Sheamus doesn't get a match.
Oh, Sheamus doesn't.
Yeah, he said if he doesn't get a match on WrestleMania, it's like you might be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
They're not doing that this year.
They're not doing it this year.
Like,
Sheamus, based on what he's done, I don't like the latest iteration of Sheamus, but what Sheamus has done over the past year and a half, 2 years, I think Sheamus does deserve a spot on Mania. Based off of the matches he's had and the character and everything else, I think Sheamus does. I'm not necessarily thrilled with this iteration of it.
I mean, he's not really in like a big story right now. Like to sit there and say that, we're going to give you a match.
Especially since Big E's hurt now.
Whose fault is that?
They were supposed to get the New Day back. And
you know, it's like we constantly sit there and say that WrestleMania shouldn't be all hands on deck. You know, if Sheamus isn't really in a storyline, he shouldn't be on the card. Like, I would agree that's creative, but
I would agree with you if it's one night, but it's 2 nights. If you can't get him on the card in 2 nights, then there's a problem.
If they were planning him in New Day, he should be on the show and just keep Raw, Ridge out for his part. Yeah. Go Sheamus and Dunn. Butch versus Woods and Kofi.
Is Woods cleared?
Is Woods back yet?
They were saying they were supposed to be his return.
Okay.
For Mania.
Yeah,
that's
what probably been those 6.
I think we've done 3-on-3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it going to be a match I want to watch? Probably not, but
I just find it hilarious that Pat McAfee's over there calling Butch an assassin, but meanwhile he had Pete Dunne on his War Games team. Like, how hard was, and because Pat just says what he says, like, how hard was it for him not to refer to him as Pete Dunne and everything else last night? Like, I don't know, man. But yeah,
speaking of McAfee, my man just wants to jump off anything.
Is he going to pull the Shane spot this year?
Hey,
possibly.
That's why you put the strap on Mac.
Stop it.
So I because I watch his daily show during the week, and he put out a video called Dream, and then it was basically his version of a WWE video package, right? Going through his life and everything else, and he really has dreamt of being a WWE superstar and wrestling at WrestleMania since he was a kid. There's high school and college videos and interviews of him talking about wanting to be a professional wrestler and everything else. So he's definitely not one that's just a celebrity throw off. Like, he's definitely a guy that has been a lifelong fan, and has wanted to do this forever. My only worry is that is Austin Theory experienced enough to be able to lead and carry the match the way Adam Cole did and the way the War Games match was set up, because you had a ton of experience in there to be able to guide him and everything else. Not saying that it won't be good, but that's the only thing that I'm worried about is Austin's ability and experience to be able to go out there, call it in the ring, do everything and make it look good.
I think he should be okay. He's been around for long enough. It's not like he just started NXT. He traveled the indies for quite a while.
He's only 23 years old. Like, he's not.
I mean, that's 5 years experience. I'm sure that he has.
Most wrestlers will tell you they don't get it until their 9th or 10th year.
I think he should be fine.
I mean,
I'm sure they're probably practicing this more than that day. So,
yeah, I agree with that. The placement of what they did last night was super odd, though.
Yeah,
like you did it during Ricochet and Sammy, and it was just like you completely forgot Ricochet and Sammy were even in the ring.
That's the IC title for you.
Yeah, just the placement was terrible last night. I didn't like it at all. I liked what they did. I just didn't like the placement of it on show.
So I was actually thinking of something on Raw whenever I was watching that. We have a lot of celebrity matches this year, and I'm going to count McAfee as a celebrity match. And usually, like, when there's one celebrity match, you know, that it's guaranteed they're going to win that match. With this many, is there a guarantee that the celebrities are going to win every match? Like, do you really give it to everybody?
No.
Johnny Knoxville is not beating Sami Zayn. Like,
I see 2 losses. I got to think Mysterios go over Miz and Paul.
Yeah, because they're heels.
And I give
nobody likes Paul, so
the one I kind of saw, I was like, well, you know, yes, McAfee's a celebrity, but he's also technically an announcer in WWE. Like, and they're trying to put Theory over, so I could kind of see maybe Theory going over him. But the other ones, I was just like, I don't know if I see.
Do they 50-50 book Pat and Austin, where Austin gets to win at Mania and Pat runs it back and beats him at Backlash. 2 weeks later?
I wouldn't run this again.
No. I agree. One and done.
Well, if it's McAfee's boyhood dream, he's the next man to take out Roman. Hey, giving you that boost. Who needs the boost when you beat Roman?
I'm about to mute you.
I mean, I would be there for the promos. I don't know how the match would turn out, but I'd be there for the promos. So, all right. So that's main roster. NXT Tuesday night. Dolph Ziggler, NXT champion.
I didn't watch it, but I saw it.
What the hell is going on in NXT?
Transitional champion.
They don't know what they want.
For who?
Just for Braun to come up on the main roster. And then
I hope it's not Wagner.
Yeah, then I don't know who they're going to do next, but
I mean, I get it. Like we said, if you're gonna put the rocket on Braun, put the rocket on Braun. However, he did have a really bad moment in that match.
Yeah.
He was wide left on that spear. Ciampa tried to cover it up as best he could, but there was no saving that miss. He completely missed that.
That shows still how green. 6 months in.
But like we said, if you're gonna rocket him, right? I mean, the look is there, the intensity's there. You know, when he is hitting his stuff in the ring, it looks good. I just hate that and there was an article in Cage Side Seats that came out saying that the advice he got coming up on Raw was to smile more.
Of course it was.
Like, why do they tell everybody to do that?
It's terrible.
Except for Apollo Crews. You smile too much.
Who, Breaker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a face, I guess smile, man.
You don't have to smile.
You don't have to,
but they didn't like that with Apollo Crews, though.
Did it with Finn too constantly. Much. Yeah. Just happy to be there.
I mean, I don't know if we're doing developmental, why are we putting the NXT title on a 12, 14 year veteran of the company?
Is it just the title, or is it the fact that Ziggler's back down there?
But I don't think Ziggler's back down there full time.
Yeah, I think he's just down there, just temporarily to move the title.
I mean, but you've seen him send people down.
Yeah, to draw some ratings. You saw AJ go down for a week or two. You know, try to give the reps.
You can go back to Natty and who was it? Natty and Charlotte.
Yeah. No, and I didn't. And even TJ was down there. Yeah, no, I don't mind that Ziggler's down there. I don't even mind that Ziggler's a champion. I think it's just their way that they don't know who to put the belt on next. It's just a transition there. I don't think that they want to give it to Ciampa again.
Yeah, and I'd keep him up on the main roster.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, the next guy to get it would be Carmelo.
If you're not going night, just send him up.
Yeah, I still don't understand why he's down there, but that wouldn't be that's a good call, Jay. I wouldn't mind seeing that. If you're going to take it off, give it to somebody that still has a little bit more experience, but you know is still newer to the NXT brand because he's not so much black and gold as he is 2.0 based off when he came into the company. Yeah. That's not a bad call. I'd be good with that.
Then that man's a puppeteer down there, so you can have him up for a while.
And if we're looking at like this, we're almost around the 6 month part, right? Like where they said that, you know, after 6 months, if you don't have it, you know, they're going to do some turnaround, like bring you up on the main roster, get rid of you. And we're around that point now. So it's like, I don't know who you put the title on. Because if these guys are just going to be getting moved around quickly, maybe, I don't know, do you keep it on Ziggler until you develop the next new one? And he takes it off of Ziggler like Braun took it off of Ciampa.
I think right now your two best options to put it on somebody that's in NXT. I think Jay, you're right with LA Knight, and then I think Carmelo, but he's not going to go over on Ziggler just because they're both heel characters. So
it'll be interesting to see what they do at that Stand and Deliver.
I mean, if the only other face would be Grimes for me.
Yeah, but if you're not putting the North American title on him, I don't know how you give him the NXT title.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was just very curious. And I get it, if Braun's being fast tracked and he's going to be up on the main roster come after Mania, you know, okay, great, that's fine. You bring him up, you put him on the main roster and see what he can do. It's just curious that you're doing a title change now when you have Stand and Deliver in a couple weeks, right? And you put it on Ziggler. It's just
I'm interested
as far as it's confusing as far as the messaging, right?
Yeah.
You're telling us that it's strictly developmental. But
I'm a little worried about Braun too, because at the same time, if he's coming up after Mania, that's supposed to be whenever Gable Stevenson comes in as well, and they're going to hotshot him.
Well, Braun and Gable are the two that are on the fast track to get the rocket ship put on them. From everything that I've seen, tea leaves wise,
is WWE creative enough to do 2 rockets at the same time? I'm worried about 1, let alone 2. Because they're going to really put it on Gable because they have to. They've been pumping him up.
Gable's going to be a Lesnar 2.0.
So then, is Braun going to be? Are they going to be able to do Braun at the same time, or is he just? If he has to smile, is he just going to be happy to be there each week until it's his time?
If you do that, do you build those two to an eventual? Not like right away, but like over time. If those are your next 2 stars, do you build
like a Batista Cena?
You're going to eventually have to. Eventually.
Yeah. I just worry that one of them is going to get lost in the shuffle. And they got to do something with the one for sure.
But they're lacking so much star power on the main roster. Both of them come up and exude any type of star power. Like, to me, it would be a disservice to your company if you're not able to carry that over.
They're not interested in making stars. We've talked about that. They're not gonna. They don't care. They want to create them how they want to create them, not if they have the power or not.
But you got to have people that the crowd believes and gets behind. So you need to have some type of star power with that. I mean, you can't just put the title on anybody.
They haven't done that before.
What, just put the title on anybody or put the title on somebody that doesn't have star power?
Both.
So they've put the title on people that don't have star power with the audience, but in their eyes, they had star power based off of what they believe them to be.
I mean, they don't care about the audience. We know that.
We'll just get like Great Khali's an example of that. They saw him as a star and everything else based off of his size and everything, but the fans didn't buy it for a second because he couldn't move.
And didn't even before they put the title on him. They still put it on him.
The Jinder Mahal was a business move.
Mahal really was. If you look back at that run, it wasn't that bad.
I enjoyed it.
I didn't mind Jinder. They didn't do anything with Jinder during that run. But
I didn't mind the heelness of his run at all.
When he won, I was like, all right, that's one of those ones that I said, okay, let's see what they do with this because you didn't expect it. But then after he lost the title, went back to shit. Could have started 3MB all over again.
Still can.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a state of flux right now. And like I said, this may be more of the business that WWE has put themselves in. But I said it going into the Rumble. It was one of the most lackluster build up to a Rumbles from an excitement standpoint, and Mania is feeling the same way. I don't care how stupendous it supposedly is, but you're not doing anything to make it stand out to be stupendous.
Which is a whole other reason that it needs to go back to one night. It doesn't need to be a 2-night event.
No, it doesn't need to be 2 nights.
Even if it was one night, I still don't think it would be stupendous. I mean, hell, they don't even really know what they're doing with Lesnar and Reigns, the so-called greatest match in WrestleMania history. Like
if you would at least take it down to a 1-night, 4-hour event, it's going to, I think you put the best of the best on there, it's going to come off a whole lot better than having 2 nights of just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Is that 1-night, 4-hour event going to be able to touch what AEW put out 4 hours last Sunday?
I don't think so.
I
don't think both 2 nights will cover what AEW put out last Sunday.
As far as excitement, match quality, entertainment, crowd interaction. Like, would a one night WrestleMania be able to match that card that went off on Sunday with that pay-per-view?
Yeah. Because you have WWE fans coming to watch WrestleMania. There you have AEW fans coming to see AEW.
Take the fans out of it, just looking at it from a
Talent.
paper, just looking at it from a paper perspective, match wise. If you take the best of the best from these two nights, right? Is that going to be able to live up to what AEW just put out?
It's hard to say because I'd say yes.
I think that's a question more for after WrestleMania happens.
Because I can watch AEW and just be like, okay.
All right, we'll bookmark that question. We'll circle back around to it to after Mania just to see.
Because knowing how Manias have been lately, like not even just last year, but even the past few years, I think that I'll enjoy Revolution more than I'll enjoy Mania this year. But that's me.
All right, well then let's jump into Revolution and cover the week that was in AEW because it was a big week for them.
Mm-hmm.
Pay-per-view Sunday night. It was a 4-hour extravaganza.
Technically 5.
Technically 5 because of the pre-show.
Yeah.
I thought from a viewership standpoint, it didn't feel like I sat there for 5 hours watching wrestling. I think the crowd was hot for most of the night. There were some lulls. I don't think, Britt and Thunder got any favors done to them based on where they were placed in the card coming out after the dog collar match. And that match was also funky based off of whatever you want to believe, rumors-wise, and what they're doing as far as it being kind of a throwaway match to set up the cage match this coming Wednesday. But yeah, I know Chris, me and you watched it. Donald J, I don't know if you guys caught it or read up on it.
Parts of the buy-in.
I didn't. I watched the buy-in, but I didn't watch the pay-per-view. But I read up everything I could on its own. I know what was going on.
So top to bottom, I thought it was a really enjoyable show. The only thing that I did not like was the main event. And for me, it was too much in the sense of you're stooging off every single finisher in the world to where now next time Hangman has a title defense, he's going to have to hit somebody with 4 dead eyes and 5 buckshot lariats to beat him because it took Adam Cole 3 dead eyes and 4 buckshot lariats to beat him.
But then on Dynamite, he wrestled and was barely a 5-minute match. And hit him with one buckshot, and that was it.
But that goes to show how far Dante Martin has to go to get up to Cole's level. I just feel like it was it a good match? Yes, it was a good match, but I just didn't like the fact that they took so many false finishes and hit so many finishers multiple times.
And that's not the first match they've done that in either. It wasn't just that's not my argument for that. I mean, it's my argument for that match too, but that's an argument I have for AEW, that how often they do that in main events, in big matches.
Well, and we talked about it on our prediction show. It's ROH built up to the main event, right? Mm-hmm. Their shows, they would build up, right? We said it on our prediction show. By the time Cole and Paige get out there, what are they going to do that's going to be different and stand out from everything else that the crowd has already watched for 4 hours or for 3 hours and 30 minutes? And they went the route they did. For me, it took away from the match because it was like, all right, you're hitting a Panama Sunrise on the outside. You're bringing him back in the ring. You hit him with another one. Then you hit him. Then you hit the boom on him and he kicks out. It's like, all right, what else? What are we doing here?
So is it because it was finishers?
It was how many? And
how many? It was the total number that they put into the match.
I mean, because you could tell a great story with a bunch of kickouts. It's just as long as it's not the
finisher,
or maybe two finishers.
I agree with you there, but it was because they were both hitting the Deadeye and the Panama Sunrise, as well as the Boom and the Buckshot Lariat, because they did those moves so much in the match. Like you hit them with a Deadeye through a table on the outside, and then you roll them back in, and like that doesn't get a pin. Like,
yeah, to me, it's more the booking of those matches that whoever, whether that's a Tony Khan issue or if it's the talent, I'm not sure. Like, whenever it's being played out, like, or if it's one of the coaches in the back, like that's doing this, but I don't like that. I don't like whenever you're doing all these finishers and constant kickouts and the constant, like, hey, you're down. Like, you just got 4 moves and you've been out for 5 minutes and they've just been beating you, but then you're just going to power up real quick and do the same thing to them.
Yeah, there was a lot of that too, where it was super kick.
Does that work with the story? It being them two, like how well they know each other and how much it takes to keep going. Does it work with them? Could you tell that with just those two type situation?
You could tell that story and not use those 2 moves involved in that story based off of how well.
But I think that's maybe why they went that route.
Or
it's because they know each other so well.
Okay, running with your point there, Jay. If they know each other so well, then the Deadeye, the Buckshot Lariat, Panama Sunrise, and the Boom, those should have been continuously countered throughout the match.
Yeah.
And then you hit it at the end.
Yeah.
To finish, like, okay, we know each other so well, we're going to get out of these moves in every which way possible throughout this entire match until one of us makes a mistake and gets caught with one of these finishers, and then that's the match. I got caught. That's how I think that would have played out and been a
definitely.
And they did call that at one point, like Adam Cole hit his knee. I forget what he calls that.
The Boom.
Okay. So he hits the Boom, but with the knee pad on, and they called that in that match. They go, he made a mistake there. He hit that with the knee pad on. Where normally he puts the knee pad down for it, and then they did that later. But still, it doesn't.
Yeah. Or maybe if they knew each other so well, they could have had a new move that they had saved for them. Mm-hmm. So like a new move come out of nowhere, be like, oh, what is this?
It's the Judas effect.
Just something like that. It was like he knows my moves and all like that, so I had to make up something new just for him that he hadn't seen before.
And I don't want to shit on the match because I actually did enjoy the match. It was just that type of finisher that AEW's done way too much lately. That I don't enjoy that finisher. That's kind of becoming like, everybody would talk about WCW and the Dusty finish. It's like I have a feeling that's going to become AEW signature.
And I mean, WWE has done it too. Like NXT would do it in those big time matches where you would see like Gargano and Cole, they would throw everything at each other, and then it would take an air raid through a table for Ciampa to beat Cole after everything else. Like we've seen it in other places. I just think you could tell the story better if, especially given the history, Jay, like you said, that where we know each other so well, we're going to counter this at every single point until one of us makes the mistake and gets caught, and then that's the end of the match. So, but no, I mean, overall, card wise, match wise, I think it was really good. My bigger, I don't want to say gripe, but post pay-per-view shows, and this is more AEW because their pay-per-views are so far spread out. They reset everything, right? The tables reset. We're off. We're going to start on new feuds, everything else. Some stuff will carry over. I thought Wednesday night was like 15 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag. Nothing breathed on Wednesday night. And it took away from stuff that was done. To me, you could have spread this stuff out over a couple of weeks and gotten more of an effect than shoving everything in the one show.
I hate when they do special events. And I've said this before. I hate special events in between shows, especially now that you have, you're doing your 4 pay-per-views here, then you're going to be doing these TNT specials, like they're doing the Battle of the Belts again. I don't need St. Patrick's Day Slam to be built up in between now. It just coming off a pay-per-view. Because this past week, to me, I did enjoy Dynamite this week. There was a lot of stuff there. And I think there was some stuff that needed to breathe more. And we've I'll say that I've had that argument. We've all had that argument for a while now with AEW. They don't let stuff breathe enough. But like you had almost every title on the line this week too. It's like you just came off a pay-per-view. You don't need to have the titles on the line again. Like it didn't make sense. And then here we are. We're going to go to a week later to St. Patrick's Day Slam, and we're going to have more titles being defended again. Like Dynamite should be, okay, you want to do the TNT title match on it? Cool. That's fine. Or do the tag titles on the show. But you don't need every title defended on Dynamite each week. That's the whole thing of the Monday Night War, like that they were just doing constantly.
I mean, you had Hangman defend the title, and you had Jurassic Express defend the title, right? They were both on the TNT. But the TNT wasn't challenged for on the pay-per-view.
So I was okay with that, yeah.
And then
I think they set
that up. I mean, they set that up before the pay-per-view too, that Sammy was going to challenge Scorpio on Dynamite. So they let you know that there in advance. The women's title wasn't defended, so that got a week break. And then you're doing the big cage match this upcoming Wednesday to end the year-long feud. I mean, it's
the kind of the same thing that we were talking about. Like, why couldn't you have done that match at the pay-per-view? We're paying for the pay-per-view. We're paying $50 for the pay-per-view. If you're getting your money's worth, that's where you're paying off. You're not paying off 2 weeks after the pay-per-view.
But they're paying off in somebody's hometown.
But
like, you want that 1 year anniversary.
You want that 1 year, and also, what's going to get you more eyes? Is it going to be pay-per-view or is it going to be cable TV?
If you would have built up a steel cage match as the main event of Revolution, would that have got more views?
Is Hangman fighting next week?
No.
Okay.
He's a 6-man.
Yeah.
He's in a 6-man, but it's not for the belt.
But it's not for the belt.
The Luchas, yeah. Yeah, I would have.
I mean,
I get it. I just
you can't. I mean, you can't just have the TNT title be the only title that changes hands on Dynamite, right? Like, you got to throw it up an occasional. You got to have another belt change,
and that's fine. I don't mind the occasional match. I just don't like that they build up to, like, they try to make big events on Dynamite constantly. Like, because we're going to go off of this. It's like, look at a few weeks ago. You had Beach Break, and then you had it was like New Year's Revolution. Then you had Beach Break, and it's like there was like multiple weeks of stuff going on. Like, I don't need all that. Like, whenever they gave like Full Gear, like you had Full Gear in November, and it was an okay event. Like, I enjoyed Revolution this week a whole lot more than I enjoyed Full Gear. But then after Full Gear, you had like 4 or 5 weeks of special events on Dynamite.
Winter's coming.
Yeah. It's like, it's too much sometimes. It's like, just give me the 4 pay-per-views and the TNT specials, then throw in something from time to time. But
we talked about that too, how they was going to, especially during the end of the year in the beginning of the year, how they had all those specials together, and we'll see how they would handle it.
Yeah, and they're doing what they've done the past couple of years.
Are you guys just calling them specials because they have a name attached to them?
Yeah. Well, because like I think they're considering a special event because you're doing a couple title matches and that. It's like, to me, they're trying to get people to tune in for that.
But isn't that a good way to get eyes on your product if you have title matches on your show each week? I mean, look at Raw when Lesnar had the belt and wasn't around. Was like, is that a good show because your WWE champion's never on TV at all?
Wasn't a good show no matter what, whether Lesnar was there or not.
strictly from the lens of having a championship there and defended. Now, they're not defending the AEW championship every week on Dynamite, but if you throw it in once in a while,
I don't mind every once in a while. Just don't build up to big events on Dynamite whenever you have other ones. I don't like that. I don't like it when WWE does it, or even whenever NXT was doing it so much there for a bit too. I don't need that. Just give me your weekly program and then build up to something. Like, to me, this isn't building. Like, the steel cage match I'll give you is building up to something, because that's been something they have been working towards. But yeah, it's for me, it's not needed.
too much.
Yeah, because they don't when they have 3 or 4 months in between shows to pay-per-views. I don't think they're telling the story. They have the time to tell stories, but they're not telling them long enough.
Are they telling them that you're just not liking the way that they're being told?
No, I don't think they're telling them.
So Hangman Cole hasn't been a story?
Okay, it was a story, but I felt that Hangman and Cole wasn't the story. It was Cole and the Young Bucks and all the inner turmoil between the Elite, the Bullet Club, and all that was more overshadowed than Hangman Cole. That was my complaint going into that feud.
And it still is.
Yeah, that was my complaint going into that feud. I liked the match,
which is fine, but maybe just to play. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. Maybe the story. Maybe we're not reading the right story. Maybe the story is building up to the eventual coming together of Hangman and the Bucks, and we get the Hung Bucks out of this, and they're back together again.
It could possibly, because they kind of teased that on BTE this week. Whenever one of the backstage guys went into the Young Bucks dressing room and said, "Hey, you forgot your vest," and they go, "That's not ours." And then you see it's Hangman's vest, But then whether do the Young Bucks give that to Hangman, or that's been some question, but it could be where they're going. I don't know. I just felt that if you're going to have that level of a story in that main event, build to that match. I don't need.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Like I said, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate by saying, okay, maybe yes, Hangman and Cole is not the main focal point of the story, and the story is actually going to lead to Cole and the Young Bucks getting back together for whatever reason, and that leads to like blood and guts, where we get them versus Cole and Red Dragon and 2 other people or whatever.
Or is this like Hangman heel?
I'd be really surprised on that, but it could happen.
The crowd's still behind him enough to where I won't do that yet. But I mean, like you look at Jericho and Kingston, right? The story was them 2 going into the pay-per-view. They have their match. Jericho doesn't shake his hand. Wednesday comes out. They have the back and forth, shakes his hand. We get Garcia in 2.0 coming down. And I'm like, I tweeted out, Jesus, we're running this back again. Like, why are we doing this again? And then they fucking swerved it. And I'm like, ... I got worked.
Really?
I did not. Jay, honest to God, I was so mad. I'm like, really? We're going back to these 3 against these 2 again? Like, we've seen AEW beat the dead horse with stuff before, right?
I did too.
But
I did not see that.
Didn't see it coming at all. And then it happened, and you got to work to where now we have Jericho Appreciation Society, which is about as bad as Butch. That's a terrible name. Terrible name.
I think I saw someone post, like, why didn't they just call him GFY? Like, Jericho's been trying to get that over for a few weeks now. Like, that's so much better name than Jericho Appreciation Society.
He trademarked Sports Entertainer, and he taglined it with, at the end, that's entertainment. So we can see what route he's going to with that. But like, so you have the build to the pay-per-view, you had the match, then you have the story coming out of the match with Jericho's new group. This leaves Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz to come together, which I am so thankful for and happy for. So then you're off and running with that. So like, that's a continuation through a pay-per-view with another story. Wardlow, we saw the build with him being tied with Punk and MJF, the leaving the ring for Punk, him coming out, cutting his promo. And now I think Max is going to cost him the match on Wednesday. Yeah. I don't think Wardlow's going to beat Scorpio Sky.
If it would have been Sammy versus Wardlow, I've been like, oh yeah, Wardlow's winning. But now they had Scorpio win. I don't know.
You better cost him that match. Your boy is going to be tickety tick.
They have to have the contract on a pole match,
and then that will bleed and lead into say Wardlow and MJF at Double or Nothing.
If it lasts that long.
They're telling stories. Like you said, the main event, I agree. It should have been more of the focal point on them two. They tried to make it them two, but there was just too much stuff around it that made it feel like they were in the backdrop.
Yeah.
So
I felt like the last couple of weeks, like maybe like the week or two building up to it, they tried like Hangman coming out and doing like it's story time with Adam Page and all that kind of stuff. Like they did try to steer the ship there. But again, you have how many weeks before that you could build this up, and you wait till the last minute. That's a WWE problem that I have. The WWE doesn't build the stories up on TV. They build it up close to the pay-per-view, and then you get the pay-per-view, and that's it. Like you have the time.
But we're not stopping at the pay-per-view. That's what I'm trying to get across.
And I get that, but
so we're carrying it forward. So yeah, did they not build it far enough in advance going into the pay-per-view? Yeah, but it's not just stopping it. It's not a 2-week build, have the pay-per-view, and then it stops. They're carrying it on.
We'll see where they go.
Lastly, to running back rematches. Is
AEW doesn't do a lot of rematches.
I don't think
I know, but now the feuds are starting to run into rematches because remember it was just the feuds, and then you're on to something different. Now you're getting Britt thing again. You're getting Cole thing again. You got MJF and Punk again. Is that going to hurt him eventually?
So specifically with MJF and Punk, you got the 2 matches. I think the match in between in Chicago was needed for the story to get to the dog collar match.
50-50 booked. No, I'm playing. Go ahead.
You're right. Technically, it is 50-50. They each got to win, right? But I think I think if you take the Chicago match out of the story, then
it doesn't play out as well.
It doesn't build as well. So again, it depends. Like, yeah, are we seeing Cole and Hangman in the ring again together? Yes, but it's in a 6-man. So like, where do we?
Then it's gonna go back to them again.
If it goes back to them again in Double or Nothing, then you're running it back 2 pay-per-views. But
and that's something they haven't done yet,
right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out over the next couple of weeks to start to build into Double or Nothing because you're 2.5 months away or whatever.
If they would do that, I mean, do you have to give it to Cole then, or because I could see more, and we kind of said maybe MJF at Double or Nothing, but the track they're going right now, it's like MJF at All Out. But do you see Hangman if they do it Cole Page again? Can you give it to Hangman to get him to Double or Nothing or to All Out?
That's a good. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't know either. Just
that's a long time in between.
Lastly, into a year.
Lastly, we had Jeffrey Nero Hardy as JR tagged him on Wednesday night debut and come out. Worst kept secret in all of wrestling. I thought what they did was good to set up the debut. Again, I just don't like in a show where you've had so many turns and new factions formed and newly signed people with it, like nothing breathed. But that pop he got, it's still Jeff Hardy, man. Like, and shout out to him for doing his best life and dancing down the ramp while his brother's getting his ass beat. If my brother takes time out to twerk on the ramp while I'm getting my ass beat, I got something. We're gonna have words ourselves in the back afterwards.
He's like I know you're getting your ass beat. I'm gonna help you out, but I'm gonna get my moment first.
But no, I thought. I mean, like I said, debut. He looked good. You could tell there was real, true happiness and emotion there between them two when they hugged.
I had to laugh whenever him and Sting kind of looked at each other.
I like the teases that they had there, but him and Sting, Darby and him, those 4 people facing off. I'd like to see Private Party be like the first feud for the Hardys to get them off, considering they turned on Matt to boot him out of the group. Why are you shaking your head no, Jay?
You just want to job them out, man.
I'm glad Private Party's gonna be back. Actually doing something. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they've talked about how big of fans of the Hardys that they are. Mm-hmm. Like how much they kind of their work kind of is inspired by them. So I want to see that.
Again, how many times are we going to see this? We've seen it at WrestleMania 33. We've seen it before when they got back together. How many times? Get the fuck out of here.
You can't wait for that.
I do not need to see the Hardys again. This is not 1999, 2000.
You're waiting for that Hardy Sting Darby Allin match, aren't you?
This is 2022. Jeez, you have enough tag teams on that whole roster.
Damn. You're definitely getting the Hardys versus Bucks. That's for sure happening.
You're getting the Hardys versus everybody. Again, another team. Again, another legend team that's been inserted that kicking out younger teams. What's the point?
Nothing but the hits.
What's the point? I'm starting to hate AEW because of this. It's like everybody cutting line. Oh, I'm cutting in line. It's like Kennywood. Oh, I'm cutting in line. I know that guy up there. Okay, I'm going to the front. Enough.
That's a good place to wrap Bell to Bell this week.
This is my favorite Donald.
Let's drink a beer. We'll table everything else. I'm not even going to go to anything else. I had a couple other things, but no, we're going to table that until next week. That's a good spot there. And Donald needs to drink a beer and hopefully get his mojo back.
Chug, 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 chug.
Every time Dawn goes off, we need to just sit back and drink more drink.
All right, so this week's drink of the week is fried ice cream stout. It's brought to you by Flying Fish Brewing Company. This beer is one that I have been really excited to try since we picked it up. It's 10.3% alcohol by volume. It's an imperial stout and fried ice cream flavors together. Why not indulge in 2 great things at once? That's what she said.
This is one of those ones where it's just like, cool. The can looks cool. I'm gonna pick that
up. Sorry guys, I had that oatmeal cream pie in my mouth. I wanted to get the ice cream taste.
What in your mouth?
Oatmeal cookie.
So it's an imperial stout brewed with vanilla ice cream, chocolate, and cinnamon.
Steve tried to salvage the segment over there.
It's gone. It's gone. I can't do nothing to bring it back. Hopefully the beer is a good beer.
Straight to final thoughts.
Okay.
I am tasting none of this.
It's because you just ate an oatmeal cream pie, dude.
I was trying to get the a la mode taste.
A la mode. That is not an a la mode.
Grill stick. What ice cream on it? What's that called? I don't know.
That's a grilled stickies a la mode, but that's not doing the combination that you tried. It was not
fried ice cream and oatmeal cookie. Damn it, Chris! I can't eat.
I will say this.
I know I did a little W for you.
This has way more flavor to it than the Speedway Stout that we had a couple weeks ago. As far as the vanilla and the chocolate,
and we had a fried ice cream before, and this has a lot more flavor than that one too.
I don't remember that one, so it goes to show you how impressed I was by it. This is good. I mean,
I agree. I don't have any problems with this.
Yeah, no, it's not great. It's not horrible. It's a good stout.
I'm getting pretty much what they're saying. The base of the stout's good carbonation to it. I like that. That's something that I could drink again. I'm getting the vanilla. I'm getting the malt. I'm tasting the vanilla ice cream. I think I'm getting a little bit of the bitterness from the dark chocolate, like on my tongue. But I don't get the cinnamon though. That's the one thing that I'll say I'm not picking up. But everything else I'm tasting.
Yeah.
I don't love the bitterness, but I think that it is what it is from the stout and the dark chocolate. Yeah. Kind of like instead of a coffee, you're getting the bitterness from the chocolate this time.
Right.
I taste none of that. When I first tasted it, I thought it was Neapolitan ice cream.
You're tasting Little Debbie. That's what you're tasting.
I'm gonna give it a solid. I'm gonna give it a solid 3. Like I said, not too high, not too low. I'll put it right in the middle there. So I'll give it a 3 on the Sumo scale.
I think I'm gonna go 3.5. It's a little bit better than average for me, but yeah, it's one that I would drink again. But I can't say I'd rush out and like really pick up a whole pack of it.
Chris Ray needs to pick your beers too.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as good as last week's, but
I'm with Chris. I take all the flavor. I taste all the flavors, but not the cinnamon. And at the base of it, it's a stout. I'll give it a 2.5. It's still harsh on me.
Jay, have another or not?
Well, I said 1, but yeah, no, not
okay. Yeah, no, so that's enough. All right.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, hey, if you're out and about and you see the Flying Fish fried ice cream stout, pick it up. Like I said, 10.3% alcohol by volume, so it's one that'll get you off your rocker if you're looking to have that type of night. So yeah, that's all I got for this. I'm not cheersing.
Not cheersing again.
No, we got stuff going in Jason's mouth. I'm not cheersing that.
Jesus.
All right, this week in sports, we saw the Major League Baseball come to an agreement between themselves and the Players Union, and opening day is April 12th.
4-1-2.
That's the thing, yeah. The 7th, 12th.
Seventh. I'm thinking of the home opener for the Pirates. Is
okay, the 7th, yeah. April 7th is opening day.
You gonna go to it, Steve?
No.
No, I thought we were all going to go. Goddamn.
Del Mark's at the ballpark.
I'm not going. I'm not going if they give me sweet tickets to go. I'm not going.
Yeah, it's.
I would go if we're sitting behind home plate because I would wear our merch and then that would get us, some free pub on TV time. But other than that, no, I'm not going to the Pirates.
So anybody watching out there, you got home plate tickets? Let us know.
So yeah, they came to an agreement. Some of the things that I guess are going to be seen right away: 12-team playoff, universal DH. Bigger bases, which, hey, I guess if you're trying to grab the younger audience, bigger bases is going to do
it. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, bigger bases. I don't understand it.
3-foot bases. That's just
going to be like the softball bases. You're going to have the white base and then the orange base, and
why not just have the mats? Just have the mats.
Bigger bases, that's Wild and Crazy Kids. I'm sorry.
This is not doing anything to help baseball.
No.
It's not. But hey, there's possibilities of a pitch clock. Yeah, but
at least they cleared up one thing with the DH. At least they did that. It's like have one or the other. Don't have both.
Until you get someone that actually wants to make changes in baseball, it's just going to be all the same stuff over and over again.
Don't worry. They'll be locked out or a strike in another 5 years.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's all about money. It is.
And they got some of what they wanted from a compensation standpoint and trying to get around the manipulation that the organizations were doing as far as arbitration years and not paying younger talent that's overperformed and everything else. So they did win some points. Again, in a negotiation, you're not going to win everything. You got to compromise. So from that standpoint, I don't think this labor agreement is going to be, tallied as a win for the owners as much as the 2016 labor agreement was all owners and no players. So they got some of their stuff.
So they're no longer your playing game?
I don't know the specifics. I just saw kind of like the highlights. I don't know how that's going to work.
They said if it's 12 teams, that's 6 on each side. So hopefully the top 2 seeds will get a first round bye, just like how football used to be.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
So we'll see. March Madness, NCAA, getting ready to go off here. We got Selection Sunday coming up tomorrow, and then we get into the actual tournament itself. For me, growing up, Thursday, Friday, day 1 and day 2 of March Madness was my favorite sporting time of the year.
Yes, it was.
Watching games from 11 a.m. to midnight with my bracket sitting there. There was nothing better in sports than those 2 days for me growing up.
Yes. Same here. I remember back in college, we should take those 2 days off and just go down to the bars or the restaurants, wherever we was going to, just skip class and watch games all day.
I mean, you do know that this is the most booked times for vasectomies, right? So guys are off work, they're sitting there with peas on their balls watching the NCAA tournament.
I had not heard that.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely true.
Your fun fact for the day.
Fun fact for the day. Yes.
And it's the 2 days that are the most least productive in the workforce. Yeah. I have no idea who's good and who's not this year. I have not followed college basketball at all this year.
I don't know a single name.
It's like I was watching. I tuned in last night because I was watching North Carolina, and I'm like, man, like I've really not watched. This is probably the first year I legitimately can say I have not watched any college basketball. Like not one single game. And I don't know if that's just me or if that's because all the local teams around here suck this year. I don't know what it is, but if I'm picking a bracket this year, I'm doing terrible because I have no idea who's good and who's not. So
all the top teams, like the top 8 teams, they just been maneuvering within each other. So it's anybody's game. And like Jason said, there's like not a player to stand out either.
Every time he turns, number 1 was going down.
Yeah. So there's that. Are you guys gonna fill out a bracket?
Yeah.
Probably.
I know we have our March Madness poll on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for Mania Madness, highlighting the Mania WrestleMania main eventers, which whoever came up with that seating needs taken
the
out.
Booker.
Shot. But
Hey.
I don't know. We'll see. I'll fill out a bracket just because I don't think I haven't not filled out a bracket in probably since I was like 9 years old. So I'll fill out a bracket and see what happens there.
They said there was a team that would have made the NCAA, but they were brand new and had to play. You had to be in 4 years.
I never heard that rule.
Yeah.
So
Bellarmine or something.
Yeah, they and this came into effect a couple of years ago, but they said once you move up to Division I, you have to be Division I for 5 years before you're eligible to play in the NCAA tournament. And the reason for that is to make sure that you can have a competitive program and that you're truly committed to D1 athletics. And it's not just a move up for money wise or whatever the case may be.
It's all for money.
So they win their conference tournament, but yet they're not going dancing in their second year. So that sucks for those players. And that may hurt the program more than help it, because they're 2 years in, they win their conference tournament, and they're not going to play the NCAA tournament. What player is going to want to go to that university
for 3 more years? Yeah,
for 3 more years before they're eligible. Like, to me, that's doing a disservice to the kids and doing a disservice to the program if you're not letting them be postseason eligible for 5 years.
So, do the team they beat, the runner-up, do they take their spot, or the conference ain't getting represented at all?
Whoever won
the regular season conference champion got the bid.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Jacksonville State, I believe, was the team that won the conference during the regular season. So they'll go and play in the NCAA tournament.
So you're not the best, but we're going to put you in the tournament.
Yeah.
So that team will probably play in the NIT then.
Yeah.
They'll be in the playing game or the very last seed, and they'll be a 16 seed and
for sure.
So NFL, crazy week in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers is going back to the Packers. Russell Wilson is now a Bronco. Carson Wentz is a Commander.
Khalil Mack's a Charger.
And
the Steelers still got Mason Rudolph.
Hey. We're gonna make it work.
The legal tampering period, which this is a thing that I've never understood, right? If you're calling it tampering, then you can't just say it's okay because we put legal in front of it. Like, still tampering, right?
Yeah.
Like, the legal tampering period is Monday. The official start of free agency starts Wednesday. So you'll see there'll be a ton of news Monday and Tuesday come out of where players are going to actually sign, but they can't officially sign a deal until Wednesday when the new league year starts. If you're the Steelers, 3 options for you. Draft a rookie quarterback and pay top-tier free agents to fix your holes. Get a middle-tier free agent veteran quarterback to pay him a little bit more money so you don't get top-tier free agents. Or trade the house for Deshaun Watson and you get no free agents. What are you doing out of those 3 options?
I'm going A.
You said out of those 3 options, I'll go B.
So for you, Donald, B would be, say, you pay Jameis Winston or Jimmy Garoppolo, and then you get a couple, second, third tier free agents that you're not breaking the bank on to fill up some holes on your roster.
And then I'll use the draft to fix my line, both lines. And then I'll wait till next year's draft to draft a quarterback, because the crop of quarterbacks coming out next year are a lot better than this year.
Definitely draft a quarterback next year.
So if Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis falls to 20, you're not drafting him in the first round this year?
No, I'm not. I'm more worried about my line than my quarterback.
But if you're going the route of drafting the rookie quarterback and you're paying top dollar free agents to come in to fill those lines, whether offense and defense, maybe a corner, are you okay with drafting like Kenny Pickett and rolling that way, where you sign a Ryan Jensen in center, you sign, some of these other D tackles that are out there. Maybe you bring in J.C. Jackson as a corner, you pay big money to, and you fill in those holes that way.
I just don't have no belief in the quarterbacks this year coming out the draft, so I'll still stick to B. I really don't. I mean, I'm hoping they shock me, but I don't have no faith in any of them on this level.
You had a winning season with Duck and Mason, so.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get an elite franchise quarterback guy in this year's draft. Out of the ones available, I've seen the most of Kenny Pickett, obviously, just because, he's local Pitt guy. Desmond Ridder really intrigued me based off of what he did at the Combine. Again, he's another seasoned college quarterback that has played a lot of football, has won a lot of football, has been in big time games. His athleticism really showed out at the combine as far as mobility and being able to run and whatnot. So I don't think you draft him at 20, but somebody like the Lions may, pick him late in the first round there, or you got to move up in the second round to get him. I don't.
And I'm definitely not mortgaging the whole future for Deshaun Watson. I cannot do that. Not at all. But that's why they don't make me the GM of the Steelers.
So if you're bringing in one of the lower tier free agent quarterbacks that you're not going to have to pay a lot of money for, which you're looking at probably like Mariota, Jacoby Brissett, possibly Trubisky, although Trubisky may be a little bit more money than those guys, but he's not going to break the bank. He's not going to be like Garoppolo or Winston. Hell, you may even get Winston on a lesser deal. You'd rather do that, have them compete with Mason, and then spend majority of your money in free agency, and then you would draft linemen or whatever corner, whatever to pick up first round, second round.
I'm out of your three situations. Yeah, I'll go with that. My total situation would be I'll just let Mason or Haskins run the squad for now, and I still won't draft no rookie quarterback at all.
Are you doing a disservice?
Other than Jameis is even serviceable to me more than Mason.
Yeah, I was just going with Steve's like 3.
Yeah,
Steve's 3. Yeah, but my total thing,
the names he was going off, those quarterbacks.
Yeah, but my total thing will be I'll let Mason and Haskins run this year. I'll use the money in free agency to bring in linemen and that stuff, but I will still draft offensive linemen and defensive linemen.
Is that doing a disservice to like Cam Hayward and TJ Watt and Minka, who you're just wasting a year of them?
No.
How many years have they wasted already?
No.
I mean, I would agree with you there. I think they've wasted 2 years already because they continue to bring Ben back for 2 years. But
correct, yeah, I'm 100% aboard with that.
It's going to be very interesting to see what they do because
they're in a rock and a hard place. They really are,
and they got no one to blame but themselves. They set themselves up this way. Colbert's on his way out, so I think he would want to leave them with a supposed franchise quarterback. I agree. I like the quarterback class next year more than this year, although I think you can get a really good like Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr-esque quarterback in the draft this year. Whether you can win a Super Bowl with that, I don't think so. I think the league is trending to the place where you need an elite quarterback. Like you can't win a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer no more or Brad Johnson just because you got an elite defense.
My question is, any of those quarterbacks in the draft, are they a starter when they're drafted?
To me, Kenny Pickett would be the most him or Desmond Ridder, depending on how Ridder looks after he's drafted, would probably be the two most pro ready to go starter day one. But they have so many other holes. It's not like you can just draft Kenny Pickett and go, okay, a la Big Ben, take me into the playoffs 15-1 type situation.
Yeah.
Like that team was built way differently when Ben came in, and it took Ben, it took Charlie Badge and Tommy Maddox to get hurt for Ben to even get a shot that year, right? Like he wasn't pegged to come in and play right away, even though he was picked 10th in the draft. So I don't know. I don't think any of those guys are men coming out of college. So that may be your answer right there. I think Ben coming out of college when he was drafted is better than any of the guys in this draft right now.
Yes.
So there's that. Penn's picked up another win yesterday. Hockey's coming up. NHL, NBA are coming down the home stretch of their regular seasons. We're going to get ready to start the playoffs here. How about my wife is going to the game tomorrow? She's going in a suite.
Nice. It's a good way to do it.
Has never been to a Pens game before in her life. First time going, she goes and sits in a suite. So there goes my bank account for being able to buy a Pens ticket later to take her back because she's going and sitting in a suite.
Work?
Yeah, work suite. She called
not taking you?
No. And it was prefaced by, oh, hey, you ever been to a Pens game? Yeah, I've been to a couple. I haven't been to any in the new arena, but I was in one of the last games in Civic Arena. Okay, did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Yeah. Watching hockey live is way better than watching it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm going Sunday to the suite. I'm like, well, nice. I'll just, be dad at home doing laundry and cleaning and everything else while you're enjoying yourselves.
Shoveling more snow.
Did she set your hopes up? Did you set your hopes up with have you ever been?
Yeah, set my hopes up and then completely cut me out. But that just goes to show you that's what happens when you're married, folks. You get set up to get knocked down.
Just start the story and say I'm going to the Pens game. Don't.
Yeah.
Anything else in sports this week that you guys want to get into? Cover? No. All right. Well, that's it for this week in sports. Let's get into world renowned, world famous. One got to go. All right, one got to go. Poll results from last week's baseball movie doubleheader.
All right, for the serious movie, the fans voted off 61. And for the funny, the fans voted off Bad News Bears.
My God.
So.
They do not know what they're talking about.
Oh, no, it was Tag Me In. That was.
You can still do that.
Conspiracy.
Sadly, the second most voted baseball movie for funny, Sandlot.
No.
That's just horrible.
Again,
bad
people
taste.
don't know baseball.
These are all Dawn's friends. I don't blame nobody but them. They're the only ones swaying these votes.
All right, Chris, what do we got this week?
So for this week, WWE 2K22 came out. So I figure we'll go along with some best voted wrestling video games. We have WCW NWO Revenge, WWF No Mercy, WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, and WWE SmackDown versus Raw, the first one.
So I'll go first. I haven't played one single one of these, so I bow out. I've
never played any of these.
How?
Nope.
How?
He's not a wrestling fan.
Never played any of these. I literally nope.
Oh, it's in
I haven't touched a single one of these. This is during the era whenever I wasn't playing video games.
Didn't play 64 games?
Nope.
Wow.
I mean, I played Bond, but it wasn't my 64. I had friends that had 64, and I was playing Bond. But in UFC and MLB The Show, but they didn't have none of these wrestling games, so I didn't play them. So, yeah, I recused myself from voting this week because I've never played any single one of these. So I can't give an accurate vote on which one of these has to go. So I'm out. I feel like Donald with a comedy movie series.
I'll go next.
Just close the polls.
Well, I'll go next. I only played 2 of the games here.
You're worse. You're just as bad.
I've only played 2.
Me too.
Yeah, I played WCW and NWO Revenge. I love that game because that was the first one with Goldberg in it, and you could do that spear outside of their.
But you hate Goldberg,
huh? But but in 1998, Goldberg was active. He wasn't a legend yet. This ain't 2022 where he's old and that stuff. So no. Remember, get your errors right. And I played WWE SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. That was actually the last one that I bought before I went on my wrestling hiatus for 6 years. So A and C, I never played B or D. And I have no idea which one to kick off. I didn't even know WWF No Mercy was even a game.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll probably pick that. Gotta go, because I knew what WWE SmackDown versus Raw was, but I never played it. So B.
Okay.
You could at least broke them down by you put the same class. Two of the same classes in each one. You could have give me different eras. Shit.
I thought about putting a 2K game, but I was like, that's the easiest one to kind of get off the list in a way. So
No, not really. That's when I came back.
2K14. I mean, that's kind of like out of the 2K era. That's kind of like the one that everybody thinks is like the best of them all. But
so if it was PlayStation or Dreamcast, I brought every WWE game there is. I'm gonna have to go No Mercy. Revenge was great because of Goldberg, and then those SmackDown versus Raws were just amazing. I'm going No Mercy.
okay.
Have any of you guys played the 2K22 yet?
No.
Yeah.
You played
What
it?
do you think, Jay?
Fun.
Yeah,
But I enjoyed last year's game too, so I'm biased.
I heard
You enjoyed last year's game even after.
It was the glitches. I didn't experience the glitches though.
Yeah, I heard really good things about this one, especially my GM mode and my Rise mode. I heard really, really good things about it.
I've still been seeing mixed reviews. I think like I watched IGN's review and they graded it as an 8.
Number one, you're watching the wrong people the rate on.
It was the first one that popped up, so I watched it.
If it's on Game Pass, I'm gonna download it and play it.
Yeah, it's worth the try.
Is it worth the money?
I haven't gone on to see.
For me, yes. For you guys, probably not.
Wait for a month whenever it's on sale for $20.
Yeah, I'd say do that. Yeah,
We'll just share play it.
yeah,
Just share play it off of you, Jason.
For me, two of my favorite games were WCW NWO Revenge and No Mercy. Any of the N64 games.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed. Had all of them, played all of them. Even the PlayStation 2 games with SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, and SmackDown versus Raw. Like you said, Jason, in a way, they are definitely kind of similar classes. For me, for the SmackDown games, Here Comes the Pain is my favorite one to play, just for the regular SmackDown games. For SmackDown versus Raw, the original wasn't my favorite. I think even some of those got better as they went on. So for me, I'm going to take off SmackDown versus Raw just because it was still a good game, but it wasn't the best of that series either. So it sounds like we need to do a gaming night.
Man. This is going to ball.
You got a PS2, Steve? I'll send you everything.
Do I have a PlayStation 2?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I used to. That was my favorite console. PlayStation 2 is my favorite console of all time.
He's technically not an Xbox guy.
Oh yeah.
When are we ready?
I have an Xbox. I have an Xbox de facto based off of, my son getting the new one and him giving me the old one. So I play Xbox, but at heart, deep down in my soul, I'm a PlayStation guy.
You bring the system, I'll bring the games. They're all in one binder. Okay. Ready for your ass.
Yo, you can get me on that PlayStation 2. You get me what was it? Madden, you get me NFL Blitz, or you get me NBA The Street.
We got them all.
It's a wrap.
I got them all.
It's a wrap.
I got them all.
You get me NBA The Street
over here. What you need?
You get me Streets. Yo, we'll go
on that title on the line.
We'll go on Twitch live. I'll put Big Silver up. We'll put Big Silver up, and we can go have an NBA Street tournament. That's no doubt about that.
With that title on
the You say Twitch stream?
Yeah, Twitch stream.
Hey, I don't got that plug on here.
YouTube gaming. We'll go on YouTube gaming. Or Facebook gaming, one of the two.
Let's get into final thoughts.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to episode 77. Before we send things home, just a couple things. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you get notifications when we go live each week. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at DumbMarksPod. And don't forget that our audio-only edition of the show is available on demand on all your favorite podcast platforms. Support the show by telling a friend about us and head over to ProWrestlingTees.com/DumbMarksPod to purchase our official merch. And as Steve mentioned earlier, we're currently doing our Mania Madness to vote for the greatest WrestleMania main eventer of all time. You can vote on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages, so head over there. We're currently in the first round, voting in for the Elite Eight right now.
Love the turnout.
Yeah, the turnout's been good.
Appreciate all the votes and the support.
I see some trolls out there.
Yeah, some trolls for sure.
There are trolls.
This upcoming Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, hit the bell so you get the notification. We will have IWC's own Jack Pollock on the show to break down the IWC 21 event that is happening next Saturday night. We will go live with the first Dumbmark full interview episode of Bell to Bell. I think got to come up with a name for the show. So we'll talk about that backstage and come up with something to call it here. But Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, join us live. We'll have Jack Pollock on to break everything down, talk about his career in pro wrestling, as well as some other stuff. He's a huge Pirates fan, so I want to get his take on the whole MLB fiasco and what he would do to save the Pirates, as well as some other in-depth questions and stuff. So it'll be a good conversation, a good chit-chat interview. So mark that down for Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Additionally, some things that I saw this week, entertainment-wise, TV-wise, movie-wise, that came across. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, the second Shazam movie has been moved up to be released this year in 2022. It was originally slated for June 2nd, 2023, but will now hit theaters during the holiday season on December 12th. So I still have to watch the first Shazam movie. I've heard nothing but good things about it, so
it was good.
I'm going to watch it prior
Should
to
be on HBO.
Prior to the second one being released in theaters here coming up.
Is this the first DC of the season? Will it be?
Movie wise, yeah.
Oh yeah, Batman.
Well, the Batman. So
yeah,
still have to watch that.
Yeah, same.
Tom Hanks is slated to play Geppetto in a live action Pinocchio movie that's coming out. Disney released their first look at Tom Hanks as Geppetto. So I don't know if it'll be creepy, like seeing Pinocchio. Like
sounds like it.
Yeah, I don't know how
the image that they showed, the teaser, it like Pinocchio looked like the cartoon. Like they did a good job of the anime, like the CGI for that.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm sure I'll watch it just because, but yeah, so that's there. Speaking of the Batman and coming off the success of the Batman, which I still have to see, HBO Max has greenlit a straight to series order for The Penguin, a spinoff starring Colin Farrell, executive produced by the Batman director Matt Reeves, and it will continue Oz's story as he grabs violently for the power in Gotham.
Looks nothing like Colin Farrell too.
No, I saw that there was another show that they were supposed to do, and they canceled that. So I guess this is replacing that.
Yeah, and then lastly, a God of War TV series is in the works at Prime Video.
No,
don't do it.
No,
I'm okay.
You don't think, from a video game standpoint, that's not a good story to bring to a live action series?
It's a good story, but no, not on TV.
They're doing Twisted Metal, so this must be a fad right now.
I'm trying to get that Prime gaming going.
Yeah, Twisted Metal with Anthony Mackie, Papa Doc.
For the God of War, it's a Sony, Amazon Studios and Sony will co-produce the live action TV adaptation. Key creatives involved in the Expanse and the Wheel of Time are allegedly attached to the project. I know the Wheel of Time got really good reviews. I didn't watch that, but
still planning to.
Yeah, so that's set to come out at some point in time. And then lastly, 20th Century Studios president revealed that the script for the 4th Planet of the Apes movie is nearly done and filming will start late this summer. I'm a huge fan of the Planet of the Apes series, love all of them. So I'm pumped for the 4th one to come out.
The only one I watched them was on Spaceballs at the end of the movie.
Seriously, if you got time to kill and you're looking for something to watch, go back and watch the first 3 Planet of the Apes movies.
The original?
No,
the modern ones.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say.
Okay.
I'm not going back that far.
This version of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the new ones.
Very good.
Wasn't a fan of the originals.
No, they blow the original out of the water. Very good. So I would highly suggest that and recommend that for you guys to go ahead and do little movie watching homework as you will. So there's that. And I don't think I got anything else for entertainment TV wise. Believe that's it. Anybody got anything else? Final thoughts?
I watched Turning Red yesterday on Disney Plus. That came out.
How was that?
Okay.
It wasn't made for me. I'll say that. I like Pixar movies and everything, so I thought they did a good job with it. But it's definitely, if you got teenage kids, it's definitely for them. Like, especially, it's made for teenage girls. So
that's on the docket for us to watch this weekend. Yeah. That'll probably be the viewing pleasure of the night with some popcorn.
The movie takes place in 2002, so it's like some of the references and everything was kind of cool. Like how they did that. But yeah, the movie is definitely made for teenage girls, and watch it and you'll see why.
Okay. I kind of got an idea based off of the title, but
yeah,
see how that plays out.
Okay.
Enough said. Yeah. If you get it, you get it. If you know, you know. Anything else? Final thoughts wise?
Okay.
Nope. All right. This month, as we know, is Women's Month. Shout out to all the strong women in our lives. Donald, shout out to your mother. Birthday, happy birthday, Mama Porter. We got my mom's birthday coming up this week. So a lot of strong women in our lives. I know I had a lot of strong women in my life to help raise me and bring me up. So kudos to everybody there. And
I go to war with mines every week. So
what'd you say, Jay?
I go to war with mines every week. So
yeah. Didn't your mom make you run and grab eggs while you were working this week during work?
There you go. See,
I thought that was hilarious. Yo, your mom comes into the store that you work at and tells you, "Yo, go get me eggs."
Like I work there. No,
yeah, I'm on the clock, Mom. Like I'm actually working.
You want me to do my job? Have my job? What the fuck?
And you absolutely stop that job to go get her eggs and bring them up to her.
Oh, with Skippy, yeah.
Business as usual, right, Jason?
Yeah. So as a girl dad myself that has a young daughter, I try to build her up as much as possible because I know the amount of stuff that's out there that she'll face as she gets older as a woman, which some of those barriers continue to be knocked down on a daily basis, but some of them should have been knocked down years ago. I saw this quote, and Nikki Bella actually posted this, and I thought it was apropos to start off Women's Month with. There is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. There is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. Shout out to all the strong women in your lives. Continue to build them up. They are way more important than what we give them credit for, and without them, the world don't go round. So until next time, I'm a Mark, you're a Mark, tell a Mark. Until next time, y'all can catch us around the way.